Welcome to the Photos by Mikey podcast. My name is Mikey, your host for today's episode. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Pearl Bonilla, an amazing networking expert and also the co-founder of the Connect CA. So welcome, Pearl.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. For those that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory, maybe where you grew up and like how you kind of developed a knack for as an entrepreneur?
Well, actually, in high school, I was my senior class vice president and I was in the cheerleading squad. So I was running all the events as well as being in the events. So I got a really good intro to that, but I didn't start being an entrepreneur till 2018. So I always wanted to be in charge. I always wanted to take the lead. I wanted everyone to be comfortable and had all my friends mix and mingle, even in high school.
Right.
Everyone was friends. So then in 2018, we started our own business, and it's called AP Window Cleaning.
Yeah.
And that just opened my eyes to the entrepreneur world and being a business owner and how much you can really help other people. And I just started networking and meeting the right people and just finding the people that wanted to serve, wanted to help other people, whether the connection was through them or not.
That's awesome. Were you always kind of wanted to start a business when you were younger, or did that come along when you started realizing maybe working a regular job wasn't for you?
So then after high school at 18, I worked at Pachanga, and I actually was I want to be my own boss. At 18, right. I knew it. I knew it in my soul.
Yeah.
But it was a lot harder back then. It was probably 2004. Mm-hmm. The internet was brand new. I didn't even have a lot of computers in high school. So we were brand new to it. But I always used it to connect with my friends and tell everybody where I was going for the night or whatever. So working there, it gave me an advantage because they had a lot of in-house training. So I did do the manager trainings and the whatever training they had, I literally did it. I loved to learn. Even then, I was okay, if this is going to get me to another level, I'll go. Well, I didn't pursue management there. I was a server, and I thought that was enough being there.
Right.
A manager has to be there more. They're on salary. I was getting paid pretty well as a server. I'm why would I leave? And then it just kind of my life went a different direction, but I did go to school for it. I did try going to school online for communications, actually. So I was okay, I really thought I was going to always work for somebody whose business, and I was going to be under them, just running it, either PR or helping network for them. But until our last job, I was I cannot work for anyone else. So me and Abraham, who started AP Window Cleaning, we met at work, and we were actually making hookah.
The thing you smoke, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had found this job on Indeed, and it was just a morning job that I was okay, it's not a serving job, a night job. And we were actually, he was given a lot of, what's it called? More responsibilities. I'm what's the word? Yeah. And so he was in charge of a lot of things. And then they actually asked me to do marketing, and I was going to go to vendor events and market for them. And then we just didn't love the place eventually. So we eventually quit. And that's when he was we're starting our own business. And I was I've always wanted to start my own business. So it was kind of this magical meeting because I always wanted it. And you need a partner. You definitely absolutely need a partner. Yeah. And for him to say, let's do this, I can do this. And we didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
We weren't even in the window world yet, but we're we're starting a business.
Oh, wow. So you had no experience at all, not even Abraham in the window cleaning service?
So the idea came because his mom is, she cleans houses, and she's done it for 25 years. Okay. She has 6 houses a day, 6 days a week. So we knew the general area that we needed, how many houses per day that would make a business, right? So It didn't start that way. We definitely didn't start that way. But he was like, oh, it was a niche because house cleaners don't clean the windows. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't love house cleaning. I am allergic to like everything when I'm in someone else's house. So I felt like bad. She really wanted to give us the business. And it just wasn't our forte. Right. So we're like, okay, so we tried at the windows, and then she gave us a lot of referrals. Yeah. And I just went online. I was like, you know what? Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. Took the before and after pictures. We did a lot of time-lapse videos, and it just grew from first our network, but then just the internet it takes it, and people found us.
Oh, wow. So you guys started that 2019?
2018.
Oh, 18. Did you guys, when you guys started the business, did you guys start like in a local area, or did you guys start like servicing outside of your city? Like, how did you guys start like really servicing like homes? Like, was it like small homes, or like, can you tell us a little bit like what your clientele was?
So we were living in Hemet, and he's like, Abraham is like, let's go knock on doors. And I'm like, I've never knocked on a door for anything. Like, people come to me. Like, if I was at a restaurant, I would like text everybody, like, I'm here, come to me. So that was different for me. Yeah. But he's been in different, I think he did tree services where he had to go knock on doors and give out flyers. Right. So he's done it before to where he wasn't scared to do it. Gotcha. I'm like, all right, you knock, I'll be right behind you. But I'm like, we're going to get the same color shirts. We got matching shirts, and we had like little folders. And we actually started in the like mobile homes in Hemet because the senior citizens, at first, I was like, they're not going to want this. But we knocked on a couple doors, and this lady was like, oh my gosh, I need a window washer. And I was like, really? Okay. But then she said, our window washer just moved. Like, our whole church needs their windows washed. Right. And then that's when it clicked. Like, I could start a bit. Like, we can really do this. She gave us 3 referrals. Wow. And I was like, okay, let's go. And it just took off. I took pictures of him giving estimates, him just talking to people, I would take pictures with my clients. I'm like, can I take a picture with you? They loved it. And it just slowly grew. I mean, there's more, but it grew.
Absolutely. In terms of like the first month, right? I know you guys were knocking on doors and stuff like that, but was there a point where like, there's a slow time in the beginning? Like I don't know if, because even for me as a photographer, when I first started, man, it was so hard because like the biggest thing was getting leads and bookings, right? So I did as much as I could, knowing what I knew back then, or just through family and friends. But was there anything else you guys did besides knocking on doors? Or? So
I think people are scared to start a bubusiness because you're literally in charge of getting your leads. Because I was like, what's so scary? But it's scary when you don't have a lead. Like, that's the scary part. So Instagram was my best friend. And we actually, a friend from high school told me about Thumbtack. Oh, yeah. And that's where we went to get our leads. Because we heard of Yelp, we've heard of all of them. And a lot of them charge you, right? They charge per lead, even if those leads don't work out. Right. And that's when I was like, oh no, I could get my own lead. Like, if they're not going to work out, I'll ask anybody. And we tried Thumbtack, and then we tried just honestly, groups are really good. Like, we got a lot of referrals. Nice. The slow time was in 2019. He had to get a job. Yeah. And he, at the time, was working a 12-hour shift. And he lasted maybe a month because I was like, you're working 12 hours a day. He was making maybe $700 a week. Mm-hmm. Well, we can make that off 2 houses. Right. And I'm like, okay, we got to buckle down. We were expecting my daughter, and she was born June 2019. So I had already quit. So I had started the business with him. Mm-hmm. We were washing the windows together. Right. I was doing all the media, the marketing, and then I got pregnant December 2018, and I'm like, I quit. Like, I cannot bend over. I'm going to throw up.
Oh, my God.
So I was like doing my best, and then we just had to, where did we go after that?
Did you start like, because I know you kind of started like locally, right? With residential. Did you guys start like moving to more commercial?
Okay, so in 2019 was just a slow year for us, but we did buckle down and just we just got whatever leads we could. So 2020 hit, and I was terrified. I was pregnant with me and Abraham's second child, and it was my third. And we had built this business that I was thinking was going to take off. Well, then the whole world shut down. And I was like, we are willing to work. We want to work, and they're not letting us. Yeah. That was like a big fear. And I was not going to have it. So then like a couple weeks went, and then actually, I didn't tell you. On Thumbtack, a company found us, and it's called Velasquez Interiors. They found us, and they subcontracted us. So we were getting some business towards the end of 2019, and we're like, okay, finally, we got subcontracted. We're doing brand new homes, model homes, move-in ready homes. It was just so far in between still. 2020 hit, and I was like, oh no, we just built this business. Well, they're like, in order to work for us, you have to become an LLC.
Oh, got it.
And we were already insured, licensed, and we did we had our name. And then we're like, well, are we going to do it? We got to do it. I was like, we got to do it. So we figured all that out, became an LLC, and then they gave us more work. So it was such a dark time, but a blessing in disguise, because I was like, how are we going to do this? But they ended up giving us more work. He can work 6 days a week now.
Wow. Now, when you got that subcontract, was it just you guys, or did you guys have contractors working for you?
So far it's just us.
Oh, just you guys. Wow.
And so hopefully the next goal would be to help other people get in too. Because I'm like, oh, we can subcontract our people. It's just we learned that through networking and other business owners. So we just had to start. We got our foot in, and it's been a couple years already that it's been amazing.
That's awesome. I think that's so inspiring, because a lot of people just don't take the leap of faith and go for it. And because there's that fear, right? That I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if there's enough, leads, or I'm not going to make enough money to pay my bills. There's always that. I mean, it's like any job, though. Right. If you don't work, you're not going to make money. But I think looking back 2 years ago to now, how do you feel that you're not working for somebody else?
I love it. It is such a fun time. Now we get to decide who we want to work for, basically. We don't ever have to take a job, and I like that feeling. I don't like struggling. We network now. I don't feel like I'm bugging people or begging them for my, Yeah. So it's such a different feeling just to be like, this is what I do. I know I do it well. And, if I can help you, I can help you.
That's awesome. From that point, right? And then and that's where kind of I met you, was about a year ago through the Connect, which is a local community of you guys create events, basically, right? Networking events.
Networking, yeah, for small business owners.
And how did you get involved with that?
So through networking, actually, we had AP window cleaning, and then I had started another business, and I started Money, which is a beauty online hair care products. And then I was like, I really want to help other women make money from home. And so it was a big idea. And then I got into leadership. And so I started reading everything. I went to conferences. I got to see Ed Milet live, Mel Robbins, John Maxwell. And I just resonated with them because they're all about service. And then I had read a book called Leader Shift from John Maxwell. And it just I was like, it just blew my mind. You can really help people even if you're not making money off of them, which is a lot of people don't understand. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grow in gratitude. I just wanted to learn abundance. Even though we were starting something, we didn't have everything. But it's such a mindset thing too, abundance. I was like, I don't have anything at all. I didn't think I had enough to teach anybody. I'm like, I don't have enough money to throw these parties. Right. But we started meeting up at a co-working space, and once a month, a bunch of us would meet up. Started with 5 girls, and then it went to 15, and then it came guys and girls, and we just got to all help each other in our individual businesses. And then we grew out that place, so we were like, okay, let's actually start a thing, because everyone was like, when's your next meeting? And I'm like, right. I don't know. And we're like, okay. And it took a while to come up with the name, but we really liked the community, and we really saw, we were doing other networking groups that didn't seem like they were caring more about the memberships. I feel like they were outsourcing their knowledge when they could have had like the people in the group share their knowledge and help their business.
Right.
So we just took like information from everyone else, and we're like, you know what, we like connecting people. We really liked to connect anyone, whether it's helping our business or it's helping someone else. You need referrals, and you need all these like people in your back pocket, because then they're going to eventually say, oh, you know, Mikey, he's amazing. Like,
right.
And then, oh yeah, he referred me. So it was this, we saw that value in referring people. And to me, I mean, if you refer someone, it's quality. It's a quality client. Like, they're not going to ask, how much is it? They're not going to ask a lot of questions because their friend referred.
Right.
So we just kind of took that and we're like, you know what? Because I think we're going to do like the connection, but I'm like, let's just shorten it. Like, it's the connect. Like, we're the connect. Like, if you need someone, like, whether you need a photographer or social media, like anything, insurance, like, we are willing to go look for them, honestly. But we just wanted to help our friends, and it just turned out to, like, a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I mean, the first time I think I attended one of the meetings was at the restaurant.
Chef's Grill, yeah.
Chef's Grill. And, I mean, everybody was so nice, right? Because sometimes I've been to business mixers and there's just so many people, and then there's not really that much of an organization. I like the fact that you guys kind of like segue and introduce like what the mixer is about, and then have other people come up and actually introduce your business, because sometimes it's hard for like us to meet everybody in the mixers, right? But having, you know, like that little introduction, it's kind of cool. Like now I was like, oh, okay, I haven't met him yet, so let me talk to him. And then, like, you know, you guys, we share our contact info, and then just having a little bit of fun there too with the cocktails.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in our mixers, actually. So we were attending them, and I loved them. I loved all the mixers I went to, but I would hear negative things from other people.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like stored that up. But I was like, I want it to be fun. I want it to be mingling. I want everyone up. And so we do the intros kind of in the middle. So that way, if you don't meet everybody, everyone says their intro, their name and their business, and then you know who to go like contact after. Like, so we make it a very, very busy, like, we want to refer you. So we want to know you. And then it just works out that way.
Yeah, that's also, it's about a year now, right?
Yes, it's almost our year anniversary. Like, it was something we didn't want to do, to where like, I cannot live without it now.
So how has that helped you or shaped your perception on like networking, since you're kind of in this space now of like creating events and creating mixers? How has that like shaped your mindset for your own business?
So with the Connect, we really didn't have a big plan about it, but we just threw a party, and then other people reached out to me. They're like, do you want to use this venue? You can use it for free for the whole year. Like, do you want to come to my venue? Like, so that's how I was like, wow, we are doing something, because I was terrified to do it, thinking no one's going to want to work with me. But if you put yourself out there, people will gravitate towards you. Yeah. So that's what I learned, is like, I will just share, I'll just post. And the more you share other people's stuff, like, it's going to come back to you, whether it's through them or not. So it's that whole gratitude and abundance thing. You have to just give, and, you know, it's going to come back in another way. Yeah. But it's still a little nerve-wracking, because you give and give and give, and you're like, okay. But we just attracted so many people who wanted to help. And then we attracted other businesses who were like, oh, I can sponsor this and I can sponsor that. So then we try to get like at least 5 different businesses that we can promote and sponsor, and just make it like a lively thing, because I don't want just people standing behind a booth. You know, it's like, no, come out in front of it, talk about your clients or talk about what you've done in the past. But I think events are the biggest way to get people together. I actually met Vanessa from Finer Weddings and Events. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, we went to high school together, but she was networking.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, we went to high school together. And then my first networking thing, I was terrified. I went by myself. And I love to talk, but I was like, oh my God, like, what do you just say to random people? Yeah. I was like, what did I do? Yeah.
Stranger danger.
Hi, I'm Pearl. It's so weird to me. And then she was there, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I just felt at ease because I knew someone. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I know someone. Like, okay, we could back each other up. And it just helped. And then I was throwing another Connect meeting, and I invited her, because I had like connects for her. I was like, oh, I know this venue that wants a wedding coordinator. So then she goes, you should come work for me. And I was like, really? Because I didn't think about weddings as an event. I didn't think about it. And I was like, she's like, I can teach you, like, if you want to know more. I'm like, oh, yes, like, because I'm all about learning. Yeah. So I got to work with her a few times, and then more things. I got to meet you.
Yeah, meet you at that wedding. Yeah.
I met you at a wedding. And then I met other vendors so that one sparked me too, going to these events, meeting all the vendors. Because I thought weddings are crazy. They have like 10 million vendors. No, there's like 5.
Yeah.
And if you get to know them very well, like it's so productive. Like, oh my gosh, you do a very good job about that. That's what drew me to you. I was like, yes, because you have to at least support and refer other people before you're referred.
Absolutely. And I think with like certain businesses, and I'm sure you know this, it's like, it's really a small world. There's, in a sense, in the local community, it's like eventually you start meeting other people that do the same thing you do. And I think sometimes what I find when I go to mixers or even like photography meetups, sometimes there's a little bit of like negative stigma, like, oh, she's my competition. I'm not going to connect with her or other businesses because they're going to steal my share of clients. And I think that's sometimes a stigma that people have. And I think people need to get over that because there's so many clients out there. I mean,
that's why the abundance thing. You can't be like, these are mine. These are my clients. But everyone's busy. Everyone has different schedules. And everyone has different personalities. So I think like you need to know a lot of people in different positions or professions, because what if they're busy? Then you call someone else. Like, what if they're busy? Also, we started the Connect because as a business owner, it's super lonely. Like if your family's not in it, they don't get it. If your friends are just clocking in and clocking out, they don't get it. Yeah. So we started it to support each other, but I just saw it grow like to where we can help other people's clients, get them referrals, and like have parties. And then us, like we deserve time too. Like if we're not in an office, there's no office party.
Exactly.
So we kind of create those events so that people can relax.
Yeah.
And we love to work, so it's still business oriented, but it's fun. It's not fun.
It's a fun time for sure. Yeah, it's a fun time for sure. And I highly recommend anybody that's starting a small business, right, to just, like you said, abundance and putting yourself out there. I know it's like sometimes very hard if you're kind of an introvert or if you're kind of like closed in, like your personality is not as extrovert as some of us. So what's kind of like your tips? Like, let's say I'm going to attend my first mixer. What's some of the tips you will give someone?
So I always go up to the new people and introduce myself, find out what they're doing, introduce them to it. So we have 6 ambassadors, and I make sure they all meet them. And then we just find who they can connect well with. And so it's either someone in their industry, someone they're looking for, someone they need to help grow their business. Because even just having a business, you need so many people. Like you need a brand person, you need a web, everything. So it's great to like who you're working with. I want to like who I work with. I don't want to feel like a job. I think the more fun we have, then it's like people want to work more.
Yeah, exactly. And so, sorry, I don't know why. We'll cut that out. Sorry, my phone was going off. But in terms of attending mixers, right? What's some of the benefits you think? I know we talked about referrals, but what's some of the benefits that a small business owner that's starting a business from scratch could benefit from?
Oh, so many benefits. So I just started going to chamber events. Oh. So now they're doing, now I'm going to get involved in more city events, which I can help more businesses show their face. Yeah. And it's about giving trust to the community, showing that you're involved, showing that you care. It has to be another element than just making money. And it's hard for some people. I get it, because we all need to make money, but when you're out there to serve and help, it comes around. You will meet people. You see your business, and if you're just a nice person, they'll want to work with you. So it's getting your face out there, building trust in the community, and then you get so many opportunities once you're out there. I didn't even know what was out there.
Yeah, because I think with social media, right? it's so easy to just hop on Instagram or Facebook and connect with people online. But it's not like that. You're not gonna get that deep connection.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, right? So like when you actually meet someone in person, it's like, wow, like you get to know the personality a little bit more. You kind of get to know, if you guys have that vibe, right? So like, I mean, every person is different, so you will connect with different people. But yeah, wouldn't you agree that it's so different from just connecting on social media?
Yeah, I think everyone was into the groups thing, and I tried. I'm in a million groups. I cannot get into it. Like, I just can't. Like, I don't want to jump in other people's conversations. I don't want to, like, start a conversation that I don't know people. Like, I don't know. I'm an in-person person. I'd rather meet in person. I'd just rather connect on that level because you're not going to have fun on a computer. I don't know, like, because the conversations drift or whatever. Like, you don't know what you're going to talk about once you're like talking to someone because their experience is different, their knowledge is different. I just love to learn what other people know.
That's awesome. So what's let's go back a little bit. So what's next for AP Window? So what's in the future for you guys?
This year we're going to be marketing a lot. So we got asked to be in a magazine and we're going to be marketing there. We actually are just partnered with Storm Stadium. So I'm super excited. We're going to hopefully have an event there and either with AP Window or the Connect. And we will have more chances, like so many people to make an impression on, which they want us to do more like Instagram reels. They want the marketing for the social media. So that's what I learned too, connecting or networking. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs help with social media the most. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, well, I can do that. I can do that. So I like just to help people in any little area that they can. But to be able to market our business at a higher level, we just want to scale up and hopefully hire people. Becoming a business owner, I didn't realize like we were giving job opportunities. Like I was like, we have this opportunity to show people like there's a better job out there. Like I love it. Window washing, even though it's 6 a.m, sometimes you're done by 1. Oh. Like I've only worked restaurants where I was like starting at 2, ending at 12. So I'm like, this is a perfect job to me. And so hopefully, get employment and market a lot more.
Awesome. So with that subcontract, is that like a yearly thing or is that like a monthly thing?
It's a yearly thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're like in it until they, I guess, tell us.
Wow. That's amazing. Cause like, with any service industry, that's the hardest part. Like, I'm not sure what's going to be next for the next 60 days, the next 6 months. So having something like that, it's like, okay, I know what to expect in terms of my, gross income. Mm-hmm. And so you guys are still doing small residential, right?
We will. So now it's like referrals. Okay. So when I go to my networking groups, everyone loves that business the most. And then it's like, oh yeah, but it's just referrals. So we'll just do our friends. We have certain days for that, which we love because we make more money off one single house than we do on doing 5 houses. But they're clean houses, they're model homes. It's a lot different. So it's good time.
Awesome. So how is your life different now? Because I know you were working at Pechanga as a server. Now, like, how was your day scheduled? Like, are you working Monday to Friday, kind of like that set schedule, or are you kind of like 4 hours a day? Like, what's kind of like your schedule like?
I do a lot of things. I homeschool 3 kids while one's in school. I have a 2 and 3-year-old, so I'm waiting for them to catch up. But we have Abraham out on the field. Mm-hmm. He's out 6 a.m. to about 1, 2. Depending on how many houses he has. And we do everywhere. So he's out sometimes in Palm Springs, sometimes San Diego, Temecula, local, but it's anywhere. Whenever they send him, he goes.
Yeah, wow.
And then I have him take Wednesdays off now because now that we're at a stable place where we can do that, I network on Wednesdays. I also do content creation for some places, and I do that on Wednesdays. And I network on Wednesdays. So we do a lunch bunch. It's called Marietta Lunch Bunch. And we all meet in Marietta at lunch. And then there's always something at night. Like there's a chamber meeting or there's another networking group. So I always make sure to check them out. But it's just, I'm just on Wednesday. But then during the week, I post. I batch everything. A lot of people laugh at me because I'm like, I'll post later. Like, I'm not going to post this right now. And then during like nap times, I'm posting for different restaurants or now I have a dentist on my little content creation. Wow. And yeah, just adding people to that, whoever needs help with that. So it's a little all over the place, which I love. I never wanted to do one thing, and I don't want to be stuck in a building. So I'm doing exactly what I love. We don't have a schedule because we don't have our kids in school. At our home, right? And we get to pick our schedule, which is just literally heaven on earth because that's the hardest part about planning anything is planning around work or school. And I just can't have people telling me what to do.
Right, yeah. That's like, you can relate. I'm sure a lot of people can relate with you, right? Because, like, you have a small business and then you have kids. So, like, how is life, like, managing, that schedule? Like, I know
There's no managing kids. I wish my kids listened into my schedule. I'd be like, oh, breakfast, nap time. They never go to nap on the nap time. Like they do what they want, which I'm here for it. That's why I homeschool. And that's why I'm like, hey, live life, kids. But everything's on nap time. I grew my businesses like through social media. I do it on nap time. So I'm not on my phone all day. Right. I make sure it's all timed out. So usually nap time and then in the evening, I could do more work. Once Abraham gets home, I shift the kids to him. Then I work on my phone. So it's just about, because honestly, they want to be on my phone if I'm on it. So I can't even like work because they want to be on the phone. So it's a lot harder than I thought it would be, but we did it. They're getting older, and I feel by next year they're going to have their own things going on. So they won't want to be with mommy all the time, but they're still little, and I just got to raise babies and businesses at the same time. But I'm glad I did it, actually, because the hard part's done. Like all the networking and the getting to know people and finding the referrals. And that's the hardest part. Yeah. And I'm glad we did it. And then now my son's, he's going to turn 10 in June. Oh, wow. And he's almost as tall as me. Wow. So we're like, you know what? It'd be a really good experience for him to go to work soon. So hopefully he'll be helping his dad. Like he's so excited. And I take him to networking things. I take him to lunch bunch. I take him. I really want him to have that entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. I want him to gain confidence. Like he's just full of love and confidence. I just don't want anyone to hurt his vibe. So it's cool to see them. Like, they know where we're at. Like, my daughter will wake up, where's daddy? I'm like, where do you think he is? He's like, washing windows. So they know where we're at, and they know, like, what's the deal. But I want them to have the spirit of working for themselves, and they're totally seeing.
Oh, that's great. I think, like when we went to, like, high school, like, sometimes it's ingrained in us to, like, okay, this is the path. You got to go to college, get a degree, but they don't really talk about the other path where maybe college is not for you and you can have that small business. And, I think now with social media, a lot of people are putting themselves out there. So how has like social media helped you? Because I know you talk about the reels, right? And posting on social media, like you batch edit. So how has social media like helped your business, the AP window cleaning service, like gain leads or like attract more clients for you guys?
So at first we did it for the clients, but we realized that we just were going to do it for like for future clients. So like we have a space so they can look back. So it's honestly the best because everyone knows who to expect. They know Abraham's coming. Mm-hmm. They know what he looks like. They know what he's going to wear. Like it's all the same. And I think that's what people always tell me about my content is that it's like a familiar film. I can't even say it.
Familiar.
Yeah, I can't say it. That word. They're like, I feel like I've been here. Like I know what to expect. And like And that I think because I've been a consumer for so long, I was like, I was a customer forever. Like, I kind of post what I want to see. Like, I don't want to just show up somewhere and there's like picture of the food, but the place is a disaster. Like, I just want to know everything. So I put that in my posts. And then just for the windows, because I think we used to work together a lot. And then just for him going, if it's my friends, they know who shows up and they know the job he's going to do. And he takes the pictures and the videos now. Oh, I had to teach him.
Oh, I didn't know?
Yeah. So now he does all the content because I'm like, we still need it on there. Even if we're busy, even if you're busy, post. Because a lot of people don't post because they're too busy.
Yeah.
But then when it slows down or something, you have nothing to reference to. And I'm like, just post every day. So I try to post once a day.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, if he's working 4 days a week, post 4 days.
Yeah.
And it literally has to be 3 to like 7 seconds now.
Yes, very short.
Short and sweet.
People's like,
attention span
is very short.
It's very short. So actually, it's getting easier. I'm like, yes, 3 seconds. Here you go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting because back in the day when I was in high school, I would deliver newspapers, and also I would also knock on doors. It was up in Ventura County Star, and I would sell newspapers and I would knock on doors, and that's the way businesses would market themselves. Now, like, social media is free. Like, you don't have to pay for the service. I mean, but I think some of the business owners I still meet, they're just not accepting yet of social media. And I'm like, well, are you going to market on newspaper or Craigslist? Like, where are you going to market at? That's not free. Yeah. I think Craigslist is not free anymore, right?
Nothing's free. Yeah. That's why I'm huge on it, and I literally talk about it. I'm like, even if it's Instagram, I did all of them, and I slowly went to Instagram only. I'm like, okay, because they're like, master one, and you'll master them all. Yeah. So I was like, it's my favorite. I like the pictures. I like to see everything. So I think people are nicer. People want to like communicate and talk on there. I feel like other places are more negative. So that's just like my positive area that I like gather all my people, because everyone wants to stay connected, but everyone's busy. So I think it's a good place and that's why I'm like, it's free marketing. I've done the Yelps and the other things. So a lot of people haven't done those. So I'm like, it's free. I'm like, you are your own commercial, right? Like, you can be on there once a day or 10 times a day, but you want to be on people's minds.
Exactly.
Because when they think of that person, they're going to be like, oh, this guy posts every day. He must be good, or he really loves his job.
Right.
Because people don't want to just throw their money anymore. Like, they want it to go to someone who loves their job, who's going to do a good job. So I think it helps with all those intentions.
Yeah, that's great. I think the one obstacle I think a lot of people have is like, they don't want to show their face, which you don't have to, right?
Yes.
Like, you can show like we were talking about earlier, the time lapse, behind the scenes.
There's so many more options, and I don't love it. I don't sit in front of a camera and talk. I love to dance, but I'm not going to be dancing on a TikTok. So I think there's so many other, and that's why I still go and do it. And other people have asked me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do like what I feel. Yeah. Because if you're not comfortable, like, we're not going to do that. Exactly. But we can show you working. We can show you on the job, show your clients, show them happy. Like, those are the things people want to see. Like, they don't need, a lot of people think they need the information or the knowledge, or they need to teach someone something. I'm like, I mean, maybe like once in a while, but they want to see what you're doing, who's there, like where are you going after work? They really want to see these things because it's a lifestyle. Exactly. Like, if you have this life and then you do nothing after work, like, no one's going to want to do that job.
Right, exactly. And do you feel like you've actually had a bunch of leads? Like, do you have people contact you, like when you first started, like contact you about your service on Instagram, like through DMs and stuff?
Yeah, especially in the beginning. And not so much now because it's all referral, but it's like we go out and people are like, we need you. So it's great. But in the beginning, totally, I would have friends from high school. I didn't even have to talk on the phone. Yeah. So this is a good little thing about building up your name, your brand. Like, I've just always tried to be a good person, tried to just stay like in my lane. And when we came to the business, I didn't want to go on. I didn't even want to go on social media. And I was like, ugh. But I was like, okay, this is going to help. It's going to help. At least show what we're doing. And then I'd had friends from high school, not even call, just text like, hey, can you clean my house? I'm moving. Yeah, sure. They would be like, okay, the keys under the mat, the check's on the table. I'm sure they had cameras inside, so it's not like they were worried, right? So I was like, okay. Didn't even have to have a phone call. And that's what got me more hooked. More hooked because I don't like talking on the phone. I'm like straight to the point, text me. And for that to happen, I was like, well, they know me, right? They must like me and they must trust me. So it helped a lot in the beginning. And then now, I mean, still, I just get texts like, can you come here? Can you come here? Yes. Like,
wow, that's amazing. Like I've had a couple people where they just sent me a message on Instagram and I prefer to have a phone call because weddings are more intimate, but there's been a couple times where, they just want to buck through. They didn't want to have a call. I was like, oh, totally fine. Which was very interesting, but everyone's different. So, but let's talk about like, in terms of like your Instagram, right? Because now you're also a content creator for other businesses. So how is that like kind of shaped the way you think about, like creating content? Like, do you have a strategy when you're creating content for other businesses?
So I wasn't planning on help. I actually wanted a social media manager myself.
Yeah.
So I went to Network to find either photographers or people to post for me so I didn't have to do that job. Well, everyone came to me and was like, we love your posts. We love your reels. And like, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah. So I was trying to mentor people just so they could do it themselves.
Got it.
Well, that doesn't work because nobody has time to post, right? So I was like, okay, well, I can help. But I just took on the content creation myself because I was like, I have this vision. Like, if I'm going to post, it's going to be my vision. Some people do send me some stuff and then I piece them together, which is fine, but I still piece them together. But most of the time I'm like, oh, I think your customers would like this. And I think your customers like, plus, because it's just from what I hear from people. So I just kind of take what I hear and then show it on their feed.
That's awesome. I think everybody needs someone, if they don't really want, because, some people are very busy, like you said, and they don't have time to create content, like create videos or stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, find someone that can do it for you, right? Because you're missing out. Like going back to the Thumbtack, because I've used it before. So I don't know if people realize when you create an account on Thumbtack and you want leads, you have to pay for the leads, right? Same thing with Yelp. There is I think a section on Yelp where you can bid, or you can bid for leads too. So, but
it's a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
I don't like gambling.
Yeah. And then if you want to push ads, like advertisement, it costs money in the beginning. So if you have no budget for advertising, I mean, you're probably maybe not even making a profit. So I just feel like a lot of people are not. I mean, I've met, even with my industry with photographers, some people ask, like, how often do you post? Oh, once a month. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And how many pictures do you guys have?
Yeah, and there was one time where I had a client that had contacted me, and they wanted to go with me, and it sounds harsh, but they looked at the other photographer's Instagram. They checked his Instagram. It's like, oh, he hasn't posted in like 3 months. Well, he's probably not busy.
Exactly.
Or he's not active, and they want someone active. And so, I'm pretty active on that, and they were like, oh, okay, we'll trust Mike more. And so that kind of plays into like people's mindset too, like, why aren't they posting? And because it is what it is. It's social media, and they want to see your work, especially if you're in the service or art industry. They want to see your most recent work. They don't want to see stuff 10 years ago, right?
And that's why I tell people, like, just be active. Even if you're not getting leads, like, it's an active thing you need to build. It's not overnight. It's not one post a month. We did it for a year, and then we got found. So it's like, you have to do it, and it pays off. I'm like, I don't get why people don't want to do it, but it's a whole new thing. I didn't realize, marketing's completely switching. I was marketing, like, even when I was like 21, MySpace was out and I was like a club promoter and I would put it on MySpace and I would pack a club. So I just like, to me, I'm like, why don't people get it? It's just a way to like hit the masses.
Yeah.
But I think more people, it's the fear. Like not getting a referral means nobody likes you. And it's like, well, that's not true either. You just have to keep going and find, like, you literally will find the people that mesh well.
Absolutely. I think it's also the time you have to put in, right? Like you said, sometimes people have that idea of instant gratification and they feel like, oh, I want to get leads right away. But it's not like that. It's like sometimes when I first started, like, I mean, I post something and like, man, I got like 2 likes of this this photo. And I'm like, is something wrong with me?
It's insane because I'm starting brand new sites for other people with 0.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like it's so I was so excited for like even my dentist. I'm like, I'm so excited for you. You have 0. Because it's like so exciting to see where you grow from there. And all the people I've met already, like I've found all these dentists like with a lot of followers and they're doing the reels so I was like, I'm gonna follow them on her page. And now they're commenting on my reels and it's like, oh my God, these people with 100,000 followers are just like, good job, thanks for sharing. And I'm like, and those are the people you want to reach because they're gonna encourage you. Like I love other people who are encouraging because we need that. So I started the Connect also just to encourage people. And it's like, when you don't have one person, you can't do it. Like, you don't think you can do it. Like, it's just not going to happen. But for me, it was Jamie. Jamie came up to me at a networking mixer. And she's like, I love your Instagram. I love your reels. And she's like, can you teach me? And then we just started connecting and meeting up. And it just blossomed. So now she was even doing some reels for different clients because I think when you just do it, sometimes it's I don't know, it's easier, but if you think about it too much, it gets really hard.
Yeah. I think if you try to script stuff, because I've done that before, like I'm gonna write everything that I'm gonna say on like a talking head, and it's like, man, it sounds like a robot. And but I do believe it's much easier now to grow your social media than ever before. Like especially with reels, like you get more attraction. Like, I mean, the impressions on that, it's insane. Like, I mean, sometimes I see posts from my industry of photographers. They just post like a random, like, with their phone, like behind the scenes. Here
behind the scenes are the best.
In the venue. And then they get like 10,000 views. I'm like, what? And then I do like I have my camera, professional camera. I do like a talking head for like 30 seconds and it's like a dud. So
yeah, and that's what I'm like constantly learning, and people want more content that's original. And it's like people will be like, I just have my phone. I do everything off. I'm an iPhone professional. It's all people. And the more, I mean, I was looking for the people to do it for me, but then you realize like it costs money, right? A photographer costs money, and then they're not posting. You got to get a social media manager. Like there's a job for everybody.
Exactly.
So I just learned all the traits. I learned how to like edit in Lightroom. Like I did everything. Like I wanted to do it my style because I'm picky too. I don't want to be telling someone else, oh, I don't like that, because everyone has their own style. So it goes like all kinds of ways. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn. And I just kind of learned myself and I have my own style, learn how to save my presets. And I'm like this. Oh my gosh. Before that, it took forever to edit. And now it's like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's like easy.
That's awesome. So let's kind of divert a little bit into kind of like your personal influences. So are there anybody out there that, it could be anybody, family, friends, or people that you've met through networking that has made the most impact on your life?
Well, I probably would not be here without my mom. My mom was a banquets coordinator or manager. So she actually got me my job at Pechanga back in the day. Yeah. And she was in the banquets department. She ran all the parties, all the events. But I didn't realize what she did because I was a busser in the restaurant. So I didn't really see what she did until later on. Like I was there 6 years. So later on, I would see the banquets happening. And I was like, oh, wow. Like they would be serving hundreds of people at Pechanga. So I got to see all that. And then she actually moved to Texas. So they moved, my family moved to Texas. I stayed here. And eventually she started working at the Marriott. Mm-hmm. And then she was also a banquet manager there too. So years later, I moved to Louisiana, I moved to Texas, and I worked with them again. Right. So I got to work with my dad and my mom, my brothers, and they were all in the banquet department. I was like a bartender, and I just always thought like, I'm just going to work for someone else. And then just like recently it hit me like, oh my gosh, like I've watched my mom do all these things that I wanted to do. I didn't even realize, like, my mom is so nice. She talks to everybody. Everybody knew her. So I always wanted to just be friends with everybody. I just wanted to be known. And like, it just hit me networking that because now people come up to me and I'm like, me. And they're like, I want to meet you. I'm like, oh no, the other day someone's like, Pearl. And I was like, yeah.
Like randomly?
Yeah. They're like, I know you. I'm like, oh. Wow. He's like, well, I don't know you. I seen you on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
So it's all these more connections are happening. Now people are coming up to me, seeing me like, oh, I seen you online, or I met Jamie. And like, they like, I know you.
Wow.
So that's another element to Instagram is like, I want people to know me at least enough to come up to me. Cause I was like, okay. But yeah, my mom was my first inspiration, and it's just grown to like now reading books. Like I am, oh my gosh, reading and podcasts. So I just started listening to podcasts myself, and I'm just like, wow, I think Ed Milet's my favorite.
That's awesome.
I was talking about Jasmine Star because of social media. Amy Porterfield is my new favorite. So I can go on, but just having professionals in the field already, that's what I'm seeking. And I just keep looking for those people.
And also, you said you've attended some like seminars or
conferences. Yeah.
How has that like also helped you in your business?
Well, it's a mind shift. Like you're immersed into feeling things you never felt before. They talk and they get like inside your soul, I feel. And it's very emotional and very draining. Right. I did it 2 years ago, and I got to see John Maxwell on stage, Ed Milet, Mel Robbins, and it just opened my eyes to like, I never thought I would be a speaker. I never wanted, like, I didn't want a lot of these things, but they were happening. And I was like, you know what? You kind of have to take the opportunities because you can learn. I didn't think about learning, like, how to speak in front of people or how to network. So it's just all a learning experience. I take it all in and just teach Abraham.
That's amazing. What's one misconception that you think is out there about like starting a small business?
Wow. Well, that it's hard. I think it's easier than people think, definitely. And there's not a lot of playbooks for it. So I think people maybe ask the wrong person, so they just give up. Not having support, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like if your friends and family don't buy from you, there's a million other people in this world. Like you have to find your clients. Like there's no, oh, my friend didn't buy, like I'm going to quit my business. So finding, encouraging like a supportive community. That's why I built the Connects, because it's like you need these people around you. You cannot survive. You really can't.
So what's one of the things you've learned over the past few years running a business? What's one thing that you would probably give advice to someone that wanted to start the same business like you did?
Well, the community will be your best friend. I am so mad I found the Chambers so late, but I met them through network. Like my events, they were coming to my events. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I would check out the Chambers. I don't think people know how much like they help small businesses at least get their name out, and then being like in front of crowds. Like you can really go to any event. Like there's an Easter event coming up. You can have your business out there, and it's about giving back usually. So you can be a sponsor or like give eggs, or you give something, and it just helps with like getting your name. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe because they don't want to show their face.
Yeah, that could be it.
Go back to that one, because I was like, why wouldn't you want to be out there? Like, I know it mind boggles me, because I'm like, you can get so much further faster with help and a lot of people.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think. We've kind of touched base on many times now, is just getting yourself out there, connecting with other businesses, and just being active, right? Because I think as small business owners, sometimes even for me, I get kind of too ingrained into the workings of my business, right? And I don't think about the external side where, oh, I could probably expand more if I start connecting with other businesses. So in terms of like your business now, right? I know you want to scale up. Is there something that you feel like you can always improve on in terms of your small business?
We could always improve. We would love better cars, like trucks, there's always stuff like we want to do more commercial. We need lifts. Like there's just always got to be something, which we're excited. That's why I wanted to market more, get those clients, and then we can hire and then get all the things. But it's just time, and we're willing to wait. A lot of people aren't just willing to be present in their time, and I mean, it's all learning experience, so there's going to be a lot, I feel, more.
That's awesome. I think in the wedding photography industry, a lot of our referrals is through client referrals. So that's why I really focus on getting positive reviews from clients and providing the best experiences possible. Can you walk us through your client experience when you have a client contact you, and how do you approach that when they ask for a quote and stuff like that?
Well, usually everyone's like, I need my windows washed. And so it's super easy. We usually just get their address. I go straight to the point. I'm like, I don't fluff. I'm like, okay, what's your address? Like we give an estimate, and then it's a yes or no. And usually it's a yes. Like if they know us, they want their windows washed, it's going to be done. But it's not a hard process. And now with just Abraham being on site more, we don't have that many. So it's super easy. We're just like, yeah, this is how much it is. Let's go. It's such an easy thing. It's so different for other companies that I run where I have to ask them more questions and ask just other things. But this one's like, okay, how many windows do you have? Gotcha. Usually we get their address because we can see their property size, and that's how we base our estimates.
Do you, in terms of the location, do you charge a travel fee if it's really far out?
No, we haven't had to.
Oh, okay.
So we've been pretty local with our friends and family. But if he's on site at a place that's far, sometimes he'll go to Ventura. Oh, sometimes he's and I'm like, are you sure? Sometimes when he's there, he's like, oh, this was dirty, or we need to charge more, or it was so far, and then the company will totally pay us more. So it's a cool little give and take. So you just have to be honest with them, and they'll pay more.
Awesome. Do you use any software for client management?
I don't. Okay. I don't. We go through the company. They send a list, and then he has to do a invoice.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's just invoices, and like I said, the other ones are so rare that we can invoice them and get it back.
So in terms of because I know your main thing right now is that subcontract for that company, but before that, when you had small residential, would you do multiple houses in one day, or how would that work?
I mean, that was the dream. But they would give us referrals. So we would just kind of back them up, try to do as fast as we can back then, because that was the only money we had. So back to back.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Monet, right?
Monet.
Yeah, I keep mispronouncing that. So how is that different from of course, your other business, AP Window? Do you feel that's a little bit more interactive with clients because you have to give direction and guidance?
Yeah. So we have a customer management on there, and then we have a back office on there. So that's easier to run. But we have to ask more questions. Usually it's for beauty and it's hair and skincare. So yeah, we definitely have to ask your hair type, your skin type, and get to know you before I can even offer you a product. Because it's all on different skin types and hair types. So that one. And then that one has a website. So that one's super easy to go on and order yourself, and then it's all kind of themselves doing it. So I've tried to keep my businesses super easy. That one has a business offer. So I did that one so I can help other moms or other women and other parents who want to be with their kids. And I figured it's like another source of income they can get from home. But that one got me into events, and that one got me into networking. And then once my hair started looking better and my skin, I was like, hey, I could go out. I could do this. And it gave me confidence to leave my house, really. And if I don't know where I would be if I didn't even have that. So I do that just to help support women. I think even with the reels and the content, a lot of times people don't want to show their face. And I'm like, why? Because it's usually their hair and it's usually their skin. So I like to have these products in my back pocket to offer. Oh. So it's something like to help with their confidence. And then after that, like, because I know, like, once you have that, like, yeah, things are scary still, like, it's still going to happen, but you have more confidence in yourself to show up, and showing up's half the battle.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So, I mean, I know you're a very busy person. You run multiple businesses. You do content creation. I mean, you run the Connect. So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired to keep doing all these things?
So at first, people were asking me, and I was like, I don't know. But it really hit me to where I didn't feel like I was supported a lot in the beginning. And me and Abraham really just had to cheer each other on. Like, we really had to be there for each other. So that's why I'm like, if you have one person, you can do it. And I just was like, okay, we're just going to support as many people as we can, because it's just this different feeling. Like, the first person I got to refer, so I had just met this guy. It was the door doctor. And I had just posted that he went to my meeting. And another friend who I had just met recently was like, hey, my garage door broke. And he's like, well, you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, I know him. Like, he came to one meeting, but like, he's super nice. He's super knowledgeable. Like, he wants to help. He got the job. So then he came in and was like, oh, hey, thanks for the referral. Like, that guy reached out to me. And I was like, really? And just by like helping someone else, I don't know, it clicked in my mind that I can do it. And then, I don't know, just like even meeting you was such a big like meeting, like connection too, because like I went to this wedding. I was just working a wedding. Like, not even I probably shouldn't have talked to anybody, but I talked to everybody. So meeting you was such a like blessing, because you came to our event and then you got to meet the DJs. Like, did you meet them before?
No, it was interesting because I met Vanessa because she started coordinating for the weddings at Churon Inn, which is one of the preferred vendors. And then, I think that was the first time I worked with Vanessa.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first time. We had talked over the phone, but that was the first time we actually saw each other in person. And then that's the first time I met you. And then I think it was shortly after that, Aaron and Jason from Crowd Control, the DJ company, had contacted me because they live close by where I live in Riverside. I'm like, dude, you live down the street. So, and I didn't realize when I went to your mixer, I was like, oh, you guys are hosting the mixer. So I had no idea that they actually were connected through you. I'm like, oh, a small world.
Yeah. I was the one talking to him. So I was telling him, we were sitting together talking, like a lunch, during the weddings we get to eat. And so me, Vanessa, and he was sitting there. And Jason, I was like, Jason. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think I was just talking to Vanessa, like, I'm having this mixer. And like, we were supposed to have a DJ, but he's not coming now. And he was like, really? And he was like, I was literally on the phone with my friend or co-founder that we need to network out here more. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, I am networking. Like, do you want to, like, that's why I do this. Because it's like, these little sparks happen when we don't know it. Like, never in a million. Did not know he was on 99.1. Mm-hmm. Did not know anything. Like, I was just talking like a normal person, right? Yeah. Then I added him on Instagram, and then I was like, oh my gosh. Like, he said yes. And he's like all over. He was like in Palm Springs the week before. Yeah. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Did not expect. Then you said that, and I was like, see, like, that's how the world works. Like, I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even some weddings I go to that I photograph, I'm like, oh, like, I know that guy in as a guest, right? I'm like, oh my God, it's such a small world. And then like even some mixers I've been to, like, because sometimes I mean, we have different circles, right, of friends and networking, and sometimes we kind of lose touch. And then you show up, it's like, oh man, I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm glad so it's kind of like full circle.
Yes.
That you meet people like from back then. So it's always cool to see old faces too. But yeah, with crowd control, like, yeah, I didn't know they had two offices. They had one in Riverside and one in Palm Springs.
Oh.
And then a lot of their DJ works for 99.1, like I think 7 of them or something like that. And now we work together. Like we've done a couple weddings already.
Yay.
I've done some conferences for them. So yeah, it's just like you were saying, once you meet the right people, you make that connection. I mean, your business is going to continue to flourish and more work's going to come to you as long as you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're like subcontracted.
Yeah, absolutely.
See,
so
we
have like an agreement now where I refer them and we have like a collection. If someone books like that collection, we work together. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. No, that was the best little connection. I was like, yay. But that happens all the time to me.
Yeah.
All the time. So that's what I just want for more people.
That's awesome. So with the Connect, do you guys always have it like different locations, or is it like?
So honestly, it's whoever comes up to me and wants.
Oh, okay.
So people will ask me, like, can you come here? We have this or that. So then like Vanessa opened her restaurant, 4th Street Garage. And I was like, can I have my event here? She's like, yes. Like sometimes people are like shocked we want to go. And I'm like, oh, I want to support the small business. So I try to find local small businesses, maybe on a Wednesday where it's slower. Yeah. So that way we can bring 30 plus people and then we're helping their business. They're helping me. Like, it's just like a full circle thing for that too.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like it's not always at one location because it keeps it interesting. And it also helps that restaurant or that venue, like, oh, it sheds more light on them.
And we make a bunch of reels and Instagram and people tag and they want to go. Yeah.
It's like yesterday I was at an event called Photog Social. So they're a local community of photographers in OC, but we went all the way to downtown LA to help promote this photo studio that I think they just opened up. So we had like 40 photographers there just taking photographs, and you multiply that by 40 reels and Facebook. I mean, and now they're probably
free marketing.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening to this, hit up the Connect and Pearl if you guys want to host their events. But let's kind of dive a little bit more deeper into like your personal life. It's and I love your story. Like you've gone a long way, right? From being a server at Pechanga to opening up your own business with a window cleaning service. I mean, it's amazing. Social media content, creating the Connect. So if you look back at your younger self, right? What's one piece of advice you would give that?
Don't listen to anyone. I mean, I think I knew it in my heart, but the world wasn't saying to do that. And it's really hard to do what no one else is doing. I think I should have found more professionals to mirror or more mentors.
Right.
But I also never had a field that I loved. So it's really crazy, like, because I think if I knew what I wanted to do, I would have done it. I didn't even know like events was a job and like that I'm so good at. So it's just, it fell on my lap at the right time. And I mean, I could have probably been more, I probably clubbed more. Like I would have thought of like, I was going out a lot more in my 20s. So I should have been like, and I honestly thought I was networking. I was always talking to everybody. I always like, I'm going to meet someone who knows somebody who knows. And it doesn't work at the club. So I should have done more networking, business type of things. But I mean, the knowledge wasn't there. So I would have told myself to find more mentors, definitely. Read more books. But the knowledge was so different. I was doing leadership books. I was trying college. I was doing things, but it just was a different time. So I think the time caught up with me. And it's like my time to network, share, show other people like you can give and you can be friends with everybody. And, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, I think the biggest part that I've learned myself is like giving back, right? Because now I've been, I have my business for over 7 years now. And, now people contact me randomly, like on social media or through my email, and they want to learn from me or shadow me. And so I'm always willing, right? If you're willing to learn and work hard, I'm willing to teach you. But if you don't have that mindset that you're just here to like take, then you're not the right person for me, because I want to make sure you also give back to other photographers. And that's kind of some of the negativity that's out there with like the wedding industry. Sometimes like people want to hold on to the knowledge. Like I spoke with Vanessa Narvios, the previous episode, and we had that conversation about like some companies, even planners and coordinators, they don't want to share their ideas. And I'm like,
but there's the internet.
There's Google now. Like you can look up anything, and and just be nice to everybody. I think the problem with when you go to events, sometimes even when I go to weddings, sometimes I don't know why some vendors are still like, I don't want to say stuck up, but they're like, they don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Like they just in a bad mood or something. I'm like, what is going on here?
Sometimes it's like their job. Like I come to do my job. Yeah. But like it's more when you're in charge of the job. Like it's more than a job. Yeah. Like you have to be involved in the community. One thing opened my eyes was going to a realtor event. So we got invited in the beginning of networking, and I was like, realtors have events? I thought they would be cutthroat. Like I thought even most business, like they would not want to help each other.
Right.
Well, I didn't realize you need the mortgage, the loan, the notaries, like literally so many things. And I'm like, you guys are smart. Like, and that was before the connects, because I was like, wow, like you guys really share each other's knowledge and you like refer people. Like, and that was so smart, because people are busy. You can't always take on clients. And whether you do or not, maybe people don't have the same personality, they'll move on. So I was like, that is smart. And that opened my eyes too, to like, you can help people in your own industry. And I was like, okay, I gotta keep going. Like,
oh yeah, it's crazy, because I follow a couple of real estate agents and brokers, and like some of the events they throw, it's insane. Like a good friend of mine does a little bit of videography for one agency, and they go on like a boat, like a big boat,
like a yacht.
Like a yacht, yeah. They go big parties, and it's like, oh, that's amazing.
That's the goal.
Next is the boat for the connects.
Yeah, meet me at the boat. Yeah, I mean, and they do lavish part, but it's for their team and like their and I was like, yes, like we can do that too. It's just about getting enough people together.
Right, absolutely. So with the Chamber of Commerce, are you part of like Temecula, or I know there's like specific cities?
There's so many. So actually, we're not part of one yet, but we're gonna probably be in Lake Elsinore and Temecula. And then Temecula's having their gala on Saturday. Oh. So me and Abraham are going, and we're gonna get dressed up and represent our business. So I'm so excited, because even the people in the chamber were like, Pearl, this is all you. Like, you need to go. Oh, wow. It's going to be like 900 business owners dressed up, and like they're supposed to have photo booths and an after party and awards. So I'm excited about the awards, to see like people in the community who are doing stuff. Like I'm going to be talking to them.
That's amazing. You know what? Now, because I've always thought about joining the Commerce, and I've worked with Commerce before with my old job, but now as a small business owner, I was just like, oh, there's a little bit of fee, but I'm like,
oh, it's like super low, and it's all year. Yeah. So I would totally do one. And then they have their own events, and then they have grand openings and all these things. So there's opportunity, especially for you. So much opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. So I know you're a very busy person. So how do you like plan for like rest and recovery? Do you rest?
Well, my kids have me up at 4:00 in the morning. I took a little nap before. Naps are my friends. And, Sundays I try not to post. Sundays are my day, and I just try to not post that day. And then Mondays are like a rest day too, because it's hard. It's a hard mom life, but I just space everything out. I try not to take on too much. I don't want to be like, that's why I wasn't promoting social media manager. I don't want that title, but I do love creating for people. So it's just, I kind of just take it as it is. Sundays and Mondays are like my slowest days. I try then because Wednesdays I'm out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you guys plan family vacations?
We actually just planned one. Abraham's birthday is April 3rd. So next weekend we're going to Rosarito.
Oh.
So yeah, before kids, we would go on a lot of vacations. I'm like once a month, let's go. And so now with the kids, well, we slowed down a lot. 2020 happened. So we're just like home a lot. And now that they're getting older, I'm like, okay, we're ready. Like we finally have our business going. Like we have all these things. And it's like, finally we can take the vacations. But we were hoping to do once a month. Because Rosarito's real close, Vegas. We take the kids.
That's awesome.
I was telling you earlier that my kids are better on vacation than they are at home. So I'd rather take them. They love to explore. They look at everything. They like eat all the food, and I love to watch them learn and like their little brains work. So yeah, I can't wait for vacation.
That's great because I think some kids like they dread family vacations, right? Because like, oh, I have to go with my parents. I don't want to be on my phone all the time.
They're still little. They got no phones. We took them to Puerto Vallarta last year, and on an airplane and everything. So my daughter was 3, and she's like, I want to go on the airplane. She already knows. She wants to go. She wants to fly. So I want them to have that too, like traveling. Oh, that's why I want to homeschool, travel more, and give them life experience.
That's awesome. From all the places that you've traveled, what's your favorite place to go to?
Okay, I'm going to say if I had to choose one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Cozumel. Cozumel, I love Mexico in general. And then that was the first time I was in that area. The water was so blue. And it's just like the view. And I mean, I was on a cruise ship and I was on 2 cruise ships.
Oh, wow.
And I went to 6 different places that year. So I was like, they're all my favorite. The Bahamas, the Caribbean, but anything, or in Mexico. I'm like, I can't even choose. But
Awesome. Hypothetically, let's say you win the lottery, $100 million in your bank account, direct deposit. Would you still be running your AP business and all the other things you do after winning that prize?
Wow. I would definitely give back. So I would think I would open either something for kids or something for parents to help them find jobs. So with the Connect, we really wanted to help people get better jobs or have like kids like out of high school find a better position instead of just going wherever they could, either fast food or. So I really want to help people get quality jobs or quality education. Like to me, like I don't feel like I had all the education. I was looking for it.
Yeah.
I was looking for all this and I don't feel like it was out there. So either more schools or some sort of career place, like I would have to go full force in education.
That's a great idea. Like we were talking about earlier about like, growing up in high school, they don't really teach about entrepreneurship as much. It's like maybe if you elect that as a class, but if you don't, then you're like, it just passes you by. You don't have no idea. But that would be a great idea, like give back to the kids, maybe have a presentation or something and just have them.
Yeah, I want to be a knowledge broker. So I want like just to get like connect people with, even if they're more knowledgeable, like I want other people to know whatever they need to know because I don't have all the answers, but you can find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I love giving back myself to like just people that want to learn. And I if I have time, I'll give back. And I think as a small business owner, it's so rewarding, right? That people, and it's crazy to me because I've never thought I'd be in this position, like yourself, that people come to me to ask for advice. I just did it because I wanted to make, I want to make a living. I got to pay my bills, right? And I worked very hard, but now it's like, wow, I'm in that position to help other people. And it's just amazing that I can do that with my platform. And I'm sure the same for you. So how do you feel like when someone comes to you and like, has anyone come to you like, can I shadow you? Like for
so far, no.
Okay.
I'm like, but like with the Connect, I have like ambassadors. So I had people want to help.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so I want to work with anyone who wants to work too. I'm like, hey, you want to work? Let's go. So I want to show them like to take authority more. Like,
Right.
I didn't want to be the one in charge, but a lot of people are really shy. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to talk. That's my, that's my gift. And I use it. So I'm willing to go first and talk. And then I just want to bring them up to, so maybe they're going to be running some, or they're going to be like helping. I want them to help the community more. So I think everyone has it in them. They need the help, and just to shadow someone and see it done. And I'm like, you guys can do this too. Like, it's super easy.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, just a couple of more questions here. Another hypothetical question. Let's say you have the option to move anywhere in the world, house paid for. Where would you live?
Mexico.
Mexico?
Puerto Vallarta.
That was the easy answer.
I've been thinking. We went to visit, and I was like, I could work at a hotel. Like, there's so many hotels. But just having that option. Actually, I went, and they're like, you can teach people English here. I'm like, but I don't know Spanish. I would have moved there already, but I don't know Spanish.
Oh.
And they're like, you don't need to know Spanish. Like, you just learn. Like, so I actually looked into that. Like, there's a certificate, and you can totally just teach people English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you want to move, let's go. Also, my dad wants to retire in Jalisco, Mexico in about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, let's go. Like, he wants to open either a farm or something, like a ranch. And I'm like, we'll help you. Like, I already know how to start a business. So I just waiting for people to like want to start a business so I can help them. Because I don't think I can move and do nothing, especially because it helps with community and it helps get to know people. So I'm like, let's go, Puerto Vallarta, calling my name.
That's amazing. I've never been to Mexico myself. I gotta go.
Well, Mexico is the best. I don't even speak Spanish, so it's fine.
Really?
Everyone speaks English.
How about Abraham?
He speaks Spanish.
Okay, okay. I gotta go with someone that at least speaks the language. Okay, last question for you. So let's say, you have someone, again, it kind of ties back to your business a little bit, that wants to start any small business, maybe the window cleaning service. What's 3 tips that would make the most impact for them to grow their business?
Okay. Well, first you have to decide that you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, you just literally have to make a decision. Like, it's funny when people get really scared about it and they didn't even decide yet. Like, you didn't even decide if you're doing this business. So once you decide, the things will start opening up. We actually went to YouTube. We went straight to YouTube, and we found couples that were doing the window washing. And then we found groups of that. And then we found the window cleaner group. Like, we found all those communities before we even started. We studied all that stuff. And then after that, we found like a window cleaning, or like a place that sold cleaning supplies.
Right.
And then we went there. So like, and then you find communities from there. So honestly, talk to everybody and anybody, online and groups and Instagram, you're going to find community. The third thing, brand yourself. So you want people to remember you. Like, we would wear the same, either white shirt or blue shirt. And we made our business cards. Everything's turquoise in all my businesses. So like, everyone knows it's my business, which is crazy. Like, all the businesses I work for also have turquoise. So yeah, like to me, it's just this aligned thing. Either I love them and I'm like, can I work for you? Or they asked me and they're turquoise. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, everything aligned with my brand. So I'm like, how crazy that everyone has the same color. But brand yourself to where people remember you, and show your face, because they need to see it.
Yeah, very, very smart advice. I think one thing I do want to kind of touch base on is that first advice you said, right? Like, you got to decide what you want to do. But also on top of that, like, once you decide, you just got to go for it, right? I mean, a lot of people, I hear this because, sometimes my family and friends, like, there's not many people in my family that have their own business. So they don't really understand what I went through, or, other people's gone through. But I think the initial step, I think, is to really just do it. Because I hear a lot of people, I'm going to start this business.
Or I want to do this. I want to do this.
I've been thinking about this. Mm-hmm.
You say, I am. You're like, I am this and I am that. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, like, I don't know, it's just the way you present yourself to someone else. Like, oh, I want to be a photographer. They're just like, okay, whatever. But if you're like, I'm a photographer, then they ask questions.
Exactly.
So it's like, well, if you're not sure, no one else is going to be sure. If you don't promote yourself, no one else is going to promote yourself.
Exactly. Even if you're starting out, and that's one thing I learned very early on is like, well, I got to accept, if I'm going to be a photographer, I'm going to say I'm a photographer. Because it was kind of hard in the beginning because I was still working a 9-to-5 job. And then like, is people going to ask me if I'm still working full time? Like,
they don't even ask. Well, networking, I was like, oh, all these people have businesses.
Yeah.
Like a couple months in, I realized they all had a job.
Yep.
And this business. So that's like, so my confidence grew as I networked because I'm thinking, oh, I don't have that much. But if you know a year more than someone else, a month more than someone else, you can help someone else. And that's what I learned. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I can for anybody. Yep. And it's gotten me this far.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's just going back to like what you were saying, decide what you want to do and make sure like you've done the research. And just take that initial step to go for it. If you never try,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to be stuck in that wheel of regret and just saying that I should have done it.
Yeah, if you don't do what's aligned with your body knows. And it took me lots of years in education and leadership and to be like, no, this is what I'm good at and this is what I gotta do. And it takes like family doesn't understand. Even my kids don't like me to leave. I'm like, I leave once a week. I didn't want to get a part-time job making nothing and being gone all the time. It makes no sense.
Yep.
You'll pay more for babysitters. Mm-hmm. So I had to be strategic, but networking's been literally the best. And everybody who does it, they're like, this is the best source of like references, referrals, sources. Like it's everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been amazing talking to you, Pearl. I mean, a ton of knowledge and experience that you've brought to our podcast here. I hope that everybody can learn from you. And so how can people connect with you?
My personal Instagram is at Pearl Bonilla 2022. And then our AP window cleaning is just at AP window cleaning.
Gotcha. Is that the Instagram handle?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. At AP window cleaning.
Awesome. What was the connect again? I'm sorry.
Oh, and then the connect is at the.connect.com. Oh, sorry.
.ca?
CA.
There
yes.
You go.
We are planning to go to more states. So that was like, we added the CA and I forget about it. I'm like, that's the connect. But yeah, that's hopefully the goal too, is to spread that source of love.
That is awesome. That's a great idea. So then you'll have like Arizona, Vegas. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to post all of Pearl's info, her website, her contact information, Instagram handles. She has a ton of stuff, so it's going to be like a paragraph long. But yeah, I'm going to post it in the description down below. So if you guys want to connect with her, feel free to do so. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to Pearl.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.